So I just got everything set up. We'll see if it works as expected. I believe that, yeah, everything is going. How does this work? If I have the vertical stream, Sony Cam, what up? Is this valid? No. Yo, what's up, Gravy? How you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're having a fantastic little evening here. I'm going to be... I kind of want to see if the YouTube side works. Let me click on this. Okay, alright, I got my desktop here. We have a desktop. I'm going to be real. The automatic YouTube vertical stream is some doo-doo. That's what I just learned. Alright, well, that's a lesson. But we'll figure it out over time. Alright, so, cool. Let's do some coding, man. How are you doing today, Gravy? What are you guys up to? I think, so today, I have a lot of things that have been worked on. So I have to go through. Last night I pumped out like three things that I was working on, 3 different features, and I'm trying to just clear those up before I continue. So here we go. This is what we got. Yo, what's up, Dirt Monster? How you doing, man? Yeah, we're making shit. We're making shit, baby. I got laid off, so the plan right now is I have enough money to do this for like 2 years. So I'm going to make games and see what happens. We'll see. No promises on them being good, but I'm gonna try my best. How you doing, man? What game are you working on, Gravy? And also, what game are you working on, Derp? Dude, I saw Derp, you were doing some Roblox coding. I saw a ChatGPT window in the background. I feel like you're on the ChatGPT gang. I feel like you're pumping out soul. That's my read. But I was only there for a couple minutes. I'm at the point where like I'm ripping like 3 or 4 windows simultaneously, and I have a banger workflow where it just like works, man. Like I can rip like I can tear into like 4 or 5 different tasks simultaneously, and it merges back in perfectly, man. Like somehow I've gotten everything to work, and it's so good. Are you taking advantage of parallelism much? First of all, it's impossible to keep up with companies. Second of all, dude, I like listen to me, man. Listen to me. You know, my workflow is this, okay? My workflow is this. I set up 4 prompts. We got 4 windows going. They're pumping shit out, okay? I go play with my dog. I go walk my dog. I laugh and have fun with my girlfriend, and I say, hello, I love you. Let's eat dinner together. And then I come back and the stuff is done. And then I'm like, okay, well, this isn't quite what I wanted. Let's brainstorm design. Let's focus on the fun. Let's maximize how much we're enjoying this game. Let's figure out how to make this more and more and more and more and more and more fun. Dude, development fucking rocks. Not only is it keeping up, it's also like it's just fun. It's fun. We get to focus on the design and focus on the fun. What up, Backpack? How you doing, dude? What are we implementing? We got 3 things here. So the first thing is a plugin improvement. So I improved the plugin. I need to confirm that it works. I'll show you guys in a sec. I see you're in the story writing part, Gravy. I see the sweet lore, my friend. Okay, so this is how my setup works. So basically, you go in and we say, all right, Claude, open up a work tree. It's gonna have a separate work tree for each task, and right now, I want to understand how the wave editor plugin came out. The cool thing about Godot is that each work tree, it's just a separate instance of the Godot project. So every single instance is totally parallelizable. Like you can have multiple work trees because they're all on their own project, right? It's super good. It's super easy. Anyway, this is the plugin I implemented. So before, you'd have to go into the level kit. You go into this attribute and you say, all right, well, let's add some spawners. Let's add some enemies. Let's add another spawn entry. Let's check out this spawn entry. And then like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is some nested bullshit, man. I don't, if you guys can see this is some nested BS. But with this plugin, now it's very obvious. So we have our level. We have the classic garden level. Wave 1 is a mutat and a mosquito. Wave 2 is a mutat. 2 mutats, 2 mosquitoes, top left, top right. Super easy. Super easy. And what I just added in this instance, not that one, not that one, not that one. This instance of Claude was, there was a problem where reordering and like, it's really interesting because, dude, I have no fucking clue why this was not working. But for some reason, like reordering and then saving, like, if you reorder the mobs in the wave and then save immediately and then try to play the game, the cache was like, it was getting weirdly mixed up with the cache. I don't know what the reason was. We're vibe coding, man. So let's see if it works. So we got a mosquito, mutat mosquito. Okay, I'm gonna change the wave to. Dude, does that even make sense? Hold on. Okay, mosquito, then mutat. Mosquito, mutat. All right. So if I put the mutat first, is this not going to work? Oh, well, so okay. We got a few things to go through, but I got the fly. It's not going to be perfect, but ooh, this guy's a little freak. Okay. I'm going to try to figure this out. So if I change mosquito to top left, now what? Okay, that worked. All right, great. All right, next debugging. Let's set mosquito to top right, and then we're going to add delay. Let's say like a 2-second delay between spawns. This is between spawns, right? That is the delay at the beginning. Let's see. 1, 2, yep. Mosquito pops out. It looks like it works, man. Right? But does this work? I would expect the mutat to pop out first, but the mosquito pops out. I think something's wrong with like what this means. I don't think this like actually means what we think it means. Hold on. Aha! 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 No. It's not about the injection. It's not about the ejection. It's about the it is about the spawn delay. So this has a spawn delay of 2. This has a spawn delay of 0. So let's set this to 2 now. It had a spawn delay of 0. Okay. So now go to the garden. Delays. Okay. And now they spawn at the same time. But that's weird, isn't it? Because isn't the whole point that this would come first? I think what's happening is like these are happening simultaneous. I see. It's because it's the same. I see. So this is like conceptually like wrong. How do I fix this? basically what's happening is because the chutes are separate. This is the top left chute. This is the top right chute. By the way, you can click this button down here to go straight to the chute that it corresponds to. So if we say, where's the bottom left chute? It's down there, man. Where's the top right chute? It's up there. Can drag and drop. We can swap out the enemy super easily. I think what's happening is that because these are different chutes, it's happening simultaneously. So the top left and top right are happening simultaneously, whereas visually it looks like these would be happening sequentially, right? It looks like Mutat would spawn twice and then Mosquito spawns twice. But it's actually Mutat spawns twice in the top left and then Mosquito gets queued to the top right. And that's just like, that's the wave. The wave itself is that, which I think that's how we want it to be. It's like in this wave, in this first wave, these are going to spawn. These chutes are going to be active simultaneously and be spawning simultaneously. Which means that like the order here, this is not really like an order. Yeah, we need to be able to do both within a wave. Like within a wave. Okay, check this out. You know what I need? We need a copy button. We need a copy button for a given enemy row. I need a copy button for this row. I need this. There needs to be a copy button right here, and then it duplicates right below it with the exact same settings. So, how do I add a... Okay, so we're going to add a spawn entry. We're going to add a Mosquito. And we're going to assign it to the top right. So we already have the synchronous, okay? Like we already have, or rather we already have, check this out. What's going to happen is the Mutat's going to spawn and then 3 Mosquitoes are going to spawn, right? So that's Mosquito 1. That's Mosquito 2. That's Mosquito 3, right? And if we change this to be a, whoops. If we change this to be a, wow, I think my intuition is actually to double tap to change the enemy, not to go to the scene. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Feedback. My intuition. Double click on the row to open up a new... to double click on the row to open up the enemy the scene selection window. We should be able to replace it. Okay, so I think that should be fixed. This should be fixed. Number 2, replace the scene select icon with another go to arrow icon. This icon will bring you to the enemy scene itself directly. Feedback 3. So what did you say here, Diego? One sec. Wow. Okay. All right. This is good. All right, so we have spawn. Okay, so we're saying I should be able to say that this should spawn after this within the same wave. So I want the mosquito to spawn, then I want a mosquito. I want the mutat to spawn, then I want a mosquito to spawn. And that's part of the wave. Versus these happen simultaneously per spawner. Okay, I think the way you do it, I think we maybe need to brainstorm this a little bit, but I think the way that you do it is we say, for each enemy in the wave, add a new column that it's just a simple checkbox, or maybe it's a drop down for spawn behavior. And the options are like simultaneous, concurrent spawn. So if it's concurrent, then it will spawn with all of the enemies above in that concurrent block. If it's sequential, then it will spawn after the previous block has finished. So really it's just that we need to be able to define blocks within a wave. So if an enemy is within a block, then no, sequential is not going to be the same as concurrent, because we have delays between spawns. We have the spawn delays, and we have you know, there's the spawn interval here, 3 seconds, right? So like within a if you have like a sequential block, so let's see. So the mutat spawns, and we have, let's say we want a block where it's a mutat and a mosquito spawning simultaneously. Then it just says, for each spawner, we're going to fill up the queue for each spawner. And then we're just going to spawn based on whatever is filled up. But when we're sequential, we're saying we don't even put it in the queue. The queue must empty completely before continuing. And that's important, because then it allows you to have that gap between blocks and gap between all the spawns. I think that makes sense. You're saying that you want to be able to control you want to be able to see the settings for each spawner in the plugin. I think that's actually that's a pretty good improvement. I think I need to, okay, I think I can add that as an extension, as a next extension. Okay. But it needs to be in a separate, I think I need to wrap this one up before we add that, because I'm bloating the context too much. So the first feature, the feature is add a new section to the plugin that displays all information about the detected spawners and allows us to adjust the, we probably want to adjust like we want to adjust the timer, or we want to adjust the timing, right? Like, what's the spawn interval? What direction are they facing? What's the delay? You know, I think we want to be able to adjust I think to start, we want to just be able to adjust the timing. I think that's very important. So allows us to adjust settings for each spawner. We should be able to have a big picture overview of all of the spawner settings. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. For the sequential spawning within a wave, I want to within a wave, I want to be able to define sequential spawning blocks and concurrent spawning blocks. So we need to be able to assign an enemy to a block as a subgroup within the wave. And we should... Oh, I think our... Holy fucking shit. It's got to be the longest message you've ever sent in my stream. Okay. This is great, though. This is great. All right. I think our wave plugin... Okay, let me read it. Second mutat comes out, mosquito spawns in the middle. Right. So we want to be able to say these things happen at the same time. These things happen after that finished within the same wave. I do think that it's a little bit of a bastardization of the wave system. Like I feel like it's just kind of, that just means we have like 10 waves. Like but it's more just like a wave. What is a wave? A wave is a series of spawns. What we're asking for is just what we want is a more structured way to think about a specific wave. Like the point is that like we could think about a wave as just the enemies that spawn, but when we try to systematize it a little bit more, I think thinking about it in terms of groups within that wave, right? Like what is the exact ordering within that specific wave? Yeah. It doesn't have to be COD zombies. So I just need to be able to articulate it, right? I think the answer is sequential and concurrent blocks. And you'd be able to say, I want... So in the first block, the first block is a concurrent block. So what that means is that everything that's included here will queue up independently. So like, let's say you have top left mutat, top right mutat, top right mosquito. That means when the spawning happens, the mutat and mutat are going to spawn immediately. And then there's going to be a delay for the other top right spawn. So that will allow us to say that these things should happen at the same time. And then we'll also stack the queue up within that sequential block as we would expect. Because that's just, like, that's the only way that can work. And then if it's that's a concurrent block. If it's a sequential block, then everything in there must spawn in that exact order given, regardless of, like, you know, how it's set up with the queue. Like it needs to be spawned in that exact order. So I think that's how we do it. I need to figure out how to articulate this. Okay. So can I put Control Plus to make it bigger? That's actually really useful. I'm realizing that this is probably really small for you guys if you're trying to read this. All right, so let's see. I would expect one mutat in the top left and one mosquito in the top right to spawn. think this is pretty good. I think this is all we wanted. Yeah, this is pretty good. I think I'm gonna rip that. Okay, excellent. All right, while that's going, let's go to the next thing. So now, what was I doing here? This is the fly. So the fly is oof. Is what I'm doing. I don't know anymore, man. I don't know. I mean, at this point, we're just describing very, 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 very concretely what we want. It's still, I think it's still like vibe coding in that I'm not looking at the code, nor does it matter that much, because if at the end of the day, it's about whether or not it works. From an engineering perspective, I mean, I can check out the code if I need to. I know. I think that is the implication with vibe coding. I don't know what the right term is then, but I think from my perspective, vibe coding means that you're not manually writing any code. I'm writing design documents essentially, and we're communicating with design documents, not code. But I think you're right that it does come with the connotation of just puking out an entire game. But that's not how we're using it. Okay, so we have the fly. It kind of works. It's not quite right. Let's see if my changes made sense. So this guy's hovering a little bit. This is indeed wrong. Okay, so that fucked up something here. So one of the big things is that it holy fucking shit. So I added a thing. I added a solution here, where basically you can see that the way tracking works, right, is like fundamentally if we're walking left and right, then it will inherently always end up getting to this like straight line angle. Like it's just how it works. It will always get to this straight line eventually. And what that means is it's going to, I wonder if maybe it should be, I wonder if maybe I am just tracking the wrong position on the player. Cause like, why is it dashing down like that? You know what I mean? Okay. I think maybe I should type this out. So some feedback. So I think we should double check the tracking location of, yo, what's up, Eduardo? How you doing? What is that? G dance. What is that? Is that a GTM emote? Holy moly. What's up? How you doing? How you doing? That's Mario. Must just drank the tip of my Dr. Pepper. Do you guys break off? Let me ask a question. Do you guys break off your tab of your drink? I'm a big tab breaker offer. I'm doing all right. We're vibe coding some stuff here. Okay, so for feedback, we need to double check which part of the player we're tracking. Seems like we're biasing towards the player's feet, but I think we should be biasing towards the top, the head of the player. It looks like the interesting. I think this isn't quite the right description. I'm probably gonna have to iterate on this a few more times. Ooh, Eduardo with the first. Holy moly, everyone else is slacking. You bend it in half and then attach it to your molar? What the fuck does that mean? No fucking... What? What? Dude, what do you mean you bend it in half? This? You're bending this in half? That's not possible, man. What are you talking about? What are you saying? That's not a thing. You have some freak ape strength. What? That's not real. That's not a real thing. You're fake news. It's my opinion. Hey, where's chat? Are you guys on screen? Hey, I don't think you guys are on screen. Hold on. Test? Okay. Alright, you guys get to go right here. Wow, you guys are in such a lucky position, huh? Okay. All right. What else we got? Okay, so during the hunt and circling, the fly should ignore collisions. And it only cares about collisions once it starts. It only cares about collisions once it starts flying towards the player. I'm not even sure if this is necessary if we just simply change the tracking location to be the top part of the head of the player. G, the top edge, top center edge of the collision. Okay. No, these are going, so that's going. Now I need to do the sunflower. So the sunflower is pretty cool. The sunflower is pretty cool. I think it's basically set up correctly. It's got a little bit to go, but it's pretty good. I got the sunflower working actually pretty well. It's very neat. Okay. So what do we got now? Okay, so now we have a sunflower. This is a new platform we just added to our game. Here's what it does. So you go over to it, blah 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 blah. Go over to it. We're gonna feed this sucker. Wait, what the heck? Oh, it's because I changed the soap to be on shift. Okay. Ah, we have multiple accounts. We have multiple accounts, Eduardo. This is great, man. Stack my viewership. This is good. Use both accounts. All right, let's So we're gonna pop a some soap down, and a sunflower pops out, and then we can use these as platforms. Let's pop another soap down. Oh, it feels like I just got like bonked. Wait, why does this? So we land on this. Oh. Oh, that's an interesting... Oh, no, that's an interesting edge case, actually. So, if we're on this platform, and I go to the left... Oh, I feel like intuitively I should be able to walk through it. We can jump through this. That's great. We can jump through this. That's great. That's pretty good. That's neat. That actually, this feels nice. That feels good. That feels good. Although the timing on the platform is a little weird. I feel like the arms of the sunflower, or the platforms of the sunflower, come out a little weird. It recedes. I see what's happening. Okay. Okay. Let me think about this. When the sunflower is withering, the platform should come back in the opposite direction. Okay, let me think about this. Some additional feedback. When the is withering, the platforms should come back in the opposite direction that they grew from. So if it grew from right to left, then it should wither from left to right. Yeah, that makes sense. If it grew from right to left, then it should wither from left to right. Basically, the withering animation should be the opposite of the growth animation. I think that makes sense. What else? What other feedback? So that used this, but I didn't see any like blinks on the plant. I think that's an interesting piece of feedback. The timing's also a little bit weird, isn't it? Hold on. So it grows. That looked fine. I think. So it's gonna come down in a sec. So it comes down. I think it's just because it's growing in the opposite direction. Or I think it's because it's withering in the opposite direction that it feels weird. When a soap is consumed, there should be some visual indicator on the pot that says the soap was consumed. Yeah. As a default, this could be a white flash. So we need that visual feedback. That's cool, man. That's cool. Does it work as a wall? I should probably test that. I should test the other settings before I continue here. So let's see, stem height. What the fuck? Wait. Okay, it's just the architecture. Weird. Why did it change the architecture so much? All right, so pot solid, stem solid. Let's say the stem is solid, okay? What does this mean for us? How does this feel? So if the stem is solid and I'm standing on it, what happens? That's kind of fun. Ooh, it's a wall, baby. It's a wall. It's kind of fun if it's kind of fun. Oh, if the stem is a wall, then the top of the wall should be the top of the head of the sunflower. Okay. What else? What else? I think this is pretty good. This is a right side. Wait a sec. So if I change that direction, did this already fix my problem? So it comes out. It's a wall, so that's a little weird, but bounces off. All right. Oh, it kind of already does that. I think it already does what I'm asking for. I just needed to change a setting. My bad. Is there anything else? That feels pretty good. I think if we just add this will feel pretty good. Great. All right. So this is good. Now we're going to do, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Nested block. Sounds good. All right. This one is still chugging along, and I realized that I probably should have interacted with that prompt. It just was sitting there for like 15 minutes. Oh, guys, I am so excited to stream, man. I read I've been watching some Streamer University, a little bit of Ludwig's segments and classes, and just like thinking about what I'm doing. Like after getting laid off, I've kind of just been trying to figure out what's my next step. I got like a couple years of savings. I think my plan is I want to stream. I think my goal here are some of my goals. All right, here are my goals. I want to. Here are the goals. Here are the goals. Stream 4 hours a day. Okay. Why stream 4 hours a day? The advice from Ludwig and the general consensus is that streaming between about 100 to 150 hours a month is like the sweet spot for streaming. 4 hours a day means about 120 hours a month. The last time I've streamed 120 hours a month is a very long time ago. I'm going to make it happen. Then the other time, if this is like an 8-hour workday, so we have an 8-hour workday, then the other goal is use the other remaining time of the day to make videos, manage socials, all that stuff, hang out in people's streams, you know, just like vibe with people, and be part of the community. And I think during that time, so like while I'm editing or just like, you know, figuring out what I'm doing, during that time, that's when I'm hanging out on Twitch and supporting my friends. And I think 4 hours of streaming, 4 hours of editing, figuring out shorts, figuring out long form, I think that'll be really good. I think if I do that every day, I have 2 years, I'll figure something out, man. I'll figure something out. It will happen. I think the other thing, one of my other goals was I want to produce one short a day. One short. Is that it? It's that easy. In the 4-hour editing block, I can absolutely produce one short. 4 hours of editing, one short, dude, I can do that. Then also one long form per week, ideally. So hypothetically, you know, that, I mean, we're producing a lot of shit. That would be great. So at least one short, at least one long form. Some days you might have multiple of each. So that's the plan. And I think, you know, for game dev and coding, I think the other part is like realistically, let's say, you know, we got our heads our bets. What if, you know, I find out that streaming is not going to work out. You know, it's just not it for me. Or, you know, YouTube, it doesn't work out, all this stuff. Well, let's build a resume. Let's build a portfolio. Let's understand the current market and the current tech and work towards hedging bets in multiple directions. So I'm figuring out all that stuff too. And I think, so I think goals, short a day, long form per week, 4 hours of streaming a day, 4 hours of editing, ideally. And I think by doing those things, we'll see what happens. I don't know what'll happen. We'll find out. And I think making a game. I want to publish this vertical slice, man. That's my plan. That is the mission. All right. That's the mission, my friends. Okay, so we are waiting on Wave Editor to be done. We got the Fly to work on here. Let me go back to the Fly. My Fly feedback was... Oh, sorry. I did not swap back to dev. Sorry about that. Wait, if I swap between this... It doesn't swap back to dev. No, it does. It does. It does. Okay. All right. Good. 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 Do you think all developers are cooked by LLMs? Absolutely not. I think that we're in a period of time where if you're imaginative and if you care about thinking and you care about communicating your thoughts, we are in a period where you can create so much so quickly and just like focus on the bigger picture goals and bigger picture fun that you can have with developing. Like I enjoy problem solving, and I've coded so much, man. I have coded so much, But there's a different type of fun in development that comes from thinking higher level. So I think that in terms of a dev that doesn't think and just wants to do rote execution of tasks and wants to just say, okay, we have to implement a queue from scratch for some reason. All right, well, we know how to do that. It's just like there's just objective best practices. And a lot of software engineering in that way can be very rote. There's just a way to implement things. Okay, you're going to center a div. All right, man. Great. You centered a div. But why do we want it to be centered? What's the point? Why are we even making this thing? What's like why does this site exist? Why does this feature exist? And I think that the rote developer is in trouble. But I think the imaginative developer who is taking ownership of product and taking ownership of making things better for people, I think that that's not going to go away. And I think the developer, I think the big thing is that the developer way of thinking, so what you learn as a software engineer and as a coder, you learn a specific way of thinking with logic and a specific way of articulating your thoughts in terms of systems. And I think that way of thinking is very important for interacting with LLMs. And if someone is not trained in that way of thinking, then it's going to be difficult to articulate what you want. And I think that therefore the biggest skill for developers, and I think where people will succeed, is being able to articulate very clearly what you want and why you want it. And if you can do that, then I don't think you're cooked at all. The question is whether or not corporations will value that. And I think irrespective of whether or not corporations value imagination and caring about people, I think that you can still do that. And I think that if corporations want to, like, at the end of the day, you know, the fact is that, you know, a PM is not incapable of learning how to be technical. There are technical PMs, people that are technically gifted and product gifted. So, I mean, the truth is that we're just going to have fewer developers. That's just how it works. But I think that it just will change what it means to be a developer. You know what I mean? You have to think higher level. So that's my take. I don't think that developers are screwed at all. I think that it's just a different way of thinking. And I read this book called The AI Mirror, and the main thesis of that book is, rather, the main piece of advice for engineers and people working in the space is, like, at the end of the day, why does technology exist? If LLMs become more popular and if LLMs do become the dominant way that we develop, what do we need to hold on to? What do we need to not forget? Like, what do we need to keep doing as people? And I think it's very important that we keep our imagination. It's very important that we think of new things, think of new fun things, think of new ways to make things better for people. Like, at the end of the day, like, software exists, games exist, websites exist, all this stuff exists because we want to care about people. We can bastardize everything and, like, try to just maximize money and all that stuff. It's not what it's about, man. And I think that hopefully LLMs give us the opportunity to come back to caring about people and making things for the sake of improving people's lives and making things that are fun, making things that are good for people. And I think if we can achieve that, then, you know, I don't think developers are screwed at all. I think it might give us more time back to care about people again. It's my hope, at least. What's up, Mr. Rancina? Down. What's up, my man? How you doing? We are currently vibe coding 3 windows here. Let's see what oh boy. Let's see what this guy cooked up. Convinced AI will be able to do 99% of tasks. Humans will handle only the remainder. I think that you're right in terms of execution of a request, right? But the real value is not and has never been in the raw execution. I think the real value is why we're doing it. What's the point? So like, why are we even doing those tasks? If you do 1,000 tasks perfectly, but there's some bullshit tasks, like, what the fuck did you even do? It doesn't matter. And if you do one task and you choose a really good task, that's what matters. And so I think like at the end of the day, what matters going forward is like, why are we even doing the things that we're doing? And therefore it requires human discernment for whether something is worth pursuing or not. And that's a very, 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 very subjective thing. And there's so many different perspectives that are not like the thing that game dev has taught me is that there is not necessarily a right or a wrong answer. It's like there's no right or wrong. Like they're like fun, like, okay, we want to implement an inventory system. Like in terms of correctness, can you have an inventory? Can you store things in your inventory? Can you move things around, all that? But like, how do you move things around? Can you drag and drop? Do you have to like, I don't know, like how many stacks of items can you have? There's not necessarily a like 99 could be a reasonable limit, or it's 999, or it's 1 for a specific unique item. Like, I don't know. There are like best practices or preferences and all these things, but at the end of the day, there's no correct. Like it's there, like that's not a thing. There's not a correct answer. It's very subjective. So when we say like doing 99% of tasks, like I think that AI will be able to implement whatever you ask. It's like they're like already right now, I pretty much get exactly what I want. But then the thing is that why am I asking for that thing? And what am I even asking for? So it can give you bullshit. But the question is did you ask for that? And like, why are you asking for it? What are you asking for? That's the thing that I think is important. And like, I think that the next wave of software engineers coming out of college and developers coming out of college are going to be people that focus on that higher level understanding. Why are we even doing the things that we're doing? You know? I think that's super important. Let me see, what do we got here? I don't know. I definitely I think that at the pace everything is going and at the just how much money is being put into everything, just without a doubt it's getting better, and it's only been getting better. I've been using this stuff for like 4 years at this point. It is infinitely better than 4 years ago. It's gonna be infinitely better in 4 more years, man, if we make it that long as a society. It's like we gotta think about if these tools are able to implement everything perfectly, why are we implementing it? What are we even doing? What's the point? I think that's where the new software engineer is, I think. All right, what do we got for this? So Oh, spawn group. Spawn group or subwave is a good way of thinking about it. Yeah, I guess instead of calling it a block, I don't know why I don't know why I called it a block instead of just a subwave. That makes way more sense. That's actually a really good point. Maybe I should we should add this as a an option. Boing. Yo, Mr. Young, Guy Young, is that how you'd say it? G Young, Mr. Young, 718. Thanks for the follow. Hope you saw that on screen, by the way. I think my alerts are working. All right, this is cool. By the way, this is a step that I added to Claude that has been really, really helpful for me. Is sometimes there are a lot of times where in game development you ask for something that already exists. You know, where like a wave system in a game is not a new concept. A subwave within a wave is not a new concept. So how have people done this before? And I think one thing that can happen is you get some bullshitty answer from Claude, and there's no way around that. No amount of extra context is going to give you non-bullshit, because it fundamentally does not care about truth. It's trying to estimate the probabilistically most correct answer, but it has no concept of lying in that way, right? It's something's going to pop out. And the thing that I realized is that what if it biases it at least a little bit towards giving you something to look at from a human. If I'm going to get bullshitted by Claude, at least I can go look at this talk by Mike Booth in GDC 2009 and see how he thought about AI and how he thought about this topic. So what it does is it'll go and find talks from GDC. It'll go and find articles about how stuff works, and then you can go read that. Sometimes I read stuff, sometimes I don't. If I'm really curious, I'm like, whoa, this is really great. And then it gives you the vocabulary and the frame of reference for asking for this in the future. I think that's the important thing. I think these tools are like genies. And if you don't know what you're asking for, you're gonna get monkey pawed, man. You don't know what you're asking for. It's you got to become a monkey paw expert. Right. I think this makes sense. I do think that I like the idea of being able to define defeat or spawn completion. I think actually this is a flag we should include, because I did not include that. All right, it's pretty good. Let's go with the next fly enemy check here. All right, does our fly work, or is this fucked still? Okay, this is pretty good. All right, wait. This might actually be exactly what I wanted. Hold on, hold on, hold on. This is kind of what I wanted. Okay. Oh, you know what? Dude, you know what? You know what? You know what? This is probably how it should work. Like that's kind of weird. That was kind of weird. That was kind of weird behavior. Okay, let's try this again. Gets in the radius and just slams towards me, right? It hits the floor because it like so the fly, what it's going to do is it's going to be tracking the player, and then when it gets inside a predefined radius around the player, then it's going to dash towards the player, right? But what can happen is what if this is the location? Then it's going to dash and immediately hit the ground, because the way I've set it up is that it can hit platforms. Maybe that's just like a problem. I kind of want to try solving this, and maybe I'll find that I just shouldn't ever collide with any platforms. But I'm stubborn, and I kind of want to see if I can get this to work. I think what I'm asking for is I want it to like circle in an arc, like an arc around the top of the player. Like if I was to take a screenshot of this, like really what I'm asking for is like really I'm asking for the fly to, like, let's say the fly is here. This is the fly. It should go towards the player, and then once it reaches the player, it needs to go into this arc above the player, like this this zone. And I think once it goes into this zone, so whatever the shortest path is to enter, like the let's say I'll make this like yellow, like this section of the zone, I think that's where the fly should be. The problem is it opens up this weird dynamic where I think the top of the cone needs to be cut off based on the platform height. So like if this was, let me take this as screenshot 1. If this is the location of the player, then now I would expect the cone to be like this. Like the fly like it should be like directly under this or whatever, with whatever margin, so that way it doesn't hit the ceiling. Like I think it needs to be like this. So then it enters, it's going towards the player, and then it goes towards this arc zone. It's a really complicated behavior. I don't even know if it's necessary. Maybe the maybe it keeps going till it collides with a wall. I don't know. This is a really tough. It's a really tough behavior because I think based on how we've designed platforms, it's going to constantly hit itself on the floor, and constantly hit itself on the bottoms of platforms. I don't know if I can make this work. This will be really cool, but it might be a little annoying because of how the player moves, and it might just end up being too buggy for it to be worth making. We'll see. All right, let's try to articulate this. I want to. Seems like a recurring problem for the fly is that it ends up prematurely hitting a platform because its circling position directly collides with a platform location, or because I'm not sure about the best way to solve this, but one approach might be the following. If the fly was approaching player, the fly moves towards the player and then moves up above the player to the yellow rectangle area in an arc above the player. Basically, we want we don't prematurely dash until we're above the player and not colliding with any platforms. Yo, what in the helly? We are indeed a Toontown legend. When was the last time you chatted in this channel? 2023. 2023, Curry. Following since March 2015, man. I was a child. I wasn't even a child. Dude, I was 16. I wasn't even a child. I guess I was a child, but how are you doing, man? Hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful, lovely, awesome day. The insane Toontown legend. Is this like a drop-in? You guys are in a call together? Is this what's happening? How you guys doing? Trying to... Dude, I've been playing some Corporate Clash recently, actually. I usually log in on Fridays because of the double XP. I've been just like... It's been really good for like 2 a.m. moments where I'm like, dude, I cannot fall asleep. I do not want to think about anything. I don't want to doom scroll on anything. I want to doom farm cogs. Like, let me hop in a 5-story cog building and I'm gonna solo it and we'll figure it out, man. I don't know, there's something very zen like about Toontown. You know what I mean? You guys feel that? Right now I'm trying to fix the behavior of my fly enemy. We are coding with Claude and in Godot. The problem that I'm facing right now is when the player, there's this little fly guy, dashes towards the player, right? Dash towards the player. All right. And dash towards the player. That's sick. It's like this is working as expected. The problem is this scenario where like it prematurely dashes towards the player. Like, this is great. This is perfect. That's great. That was awesome. That was exactly what I wanted. The problem is when it prematurely dashes and then like let's say we trigger it here and then go like that. Like, I think it needs to move up above the fly. It's kind of hard to articulate. Like see how it kind of prematurely dashed and immediately hit the floor. That's a problem. It needs to not do that. I'm trying to articulate that. That's kind of a hard thing to articulate, and I'm trying to figure out what my problem even is. Have you coded much at all? How do I pronounce your name? Rules. Dude, since 2014 is also insane. I keep forgetting that I've been on Twitch for almost a decade and a half, I guess. we're under a platform. Like, we should probably, maybe we should wait until the player is not jumping. Like, you can't, maybe we need to wait until the player is not jumping. Where we're under a platform. So we should clamp the arc height to be below the platform. Maybe we need to make sure I don't know. Is this gonna work? I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. I've provided some examples. We'll see, man. Whew. Do I have a Claude Max plan? Yeah, I got the old Claude Max 20X, $200 a month, and I'm making 0 on this game. I'm in the red, baby. I'm in the red. But boy, oh boy, is it fun. I think this is like, I think Claude has re-sparked my love for making software, man. I'm telling you. Ruel. Oh, tunification. Hey, you're a software engineer. I see, dude. The Toontown to software engineer pipeline is apparently pretty common. Toontown to League of Legends to software engineers apparently I guess that's a thing, huh? What's vibe coding? I'm also streaming on YouTube, by the way. What's vibe coding? Says Dwight Animations. Vibe coding is where so normally when you code, type out all the code. Like, let's say we want to make a character in a game move from left to right with some acceleration and some velocity. We want to be able to move our character, and we want to have a keyboard input where we press A to move left and D to move right? So when you code, you have to figure out in the language that we're using, for example, GD script, we figure out, well, how do you grab player input? How would you calculate velocity and acceleration? How would you combine them to update it on each frame? How are you gonna combine all these elements to achieve player moving from left to right? In vibe coding, what we do is we say, well, I just described the exact thing that we want. So you describe as concretely and deliberately what you want, and you fucking let it rip on Claude, okay? What you ask it, hey, give me this thing. You rub the genie lamp, and you say, okay, give me a player controller that moves with A to go left and D to go right, and we should have acceleration and velocity. And then you ask it, give me some knobs to tune, where I can tune the velocity that it's going to move at, the acceleration, the max speed. Give me some options here. And then you hope that it works. And it's a terrifying thing to do as a software engineer, because you, like, at least for me, like, what I learned was you got to be real careful about how your shit should work, man. You got to understand every single line of code. But the thing is that we've now moved towards, like, at the end of the day, look, let's be honest, guys. When you play Toontown, you're not thinking about it, like, the 99.99% of players are playing Toontown. They're not thinking, man, this function for moving around in game kind of wasn't coded right. I'm not really going to play this game anymore. This sucks. The fucking reality is that, like, the way things work is we care about the output. We care about the results. And what vibe coding does is you get to those results quicker. Obviously, this results in you also not learning the code. So you got to be okay with the consequences. Or you have to read your code and you have to understand what the AI did. Like, you really don't have to. It's just like there are consequences, right? Like, there's no, like, I think, like, there's no right answer. Like, you don't have to. If we're having AI agents prompt for us, or if we're having or if we're coding by hand, like, it's all consequences. If you code by hand, which is crazy to say, if you code by hand, you'll understand all the logic perfectly, but it fundamentally will take longer. That's just the truth. And like over time, you'll get more and more skilled, but it just takes longer. It's just the truth. And you can only work on one feature and one thing at a time. That's how it goes. Your brain can only do that. You can only be typing one chunk of code at a time. I'm running 3 different blocks of code and different functions at the same time. And we're talking to chat. There are consequences. I'm not writing the code myself. I'm not looking at the code. That's a consequence. I can go review it if I want to. I probably won't, but I can. So I think it's just like being aware of those consequences, and then, you know, dude, look, at the end of the day, do your fucking software engineering job and then like submit a prompt and go play with your dog, man. Please. Yeah, you can edit everything. So what this does is it takes the idea that you had and it figures out the probabilistically most likely outcome for what you requested. Right? That's what these tools do. Which is like how you're supposed to do software engineering. When you ask for a player controller, there are best practices and generally best approaches for how to do things. And so we should start from there. And then we iterate over and over again to add more nuance to our player controller, or add more flexibility with how it works, all that stuff, you know? That's why these tools are very good at coding. And I think like, so at the end of the day, what it does, it's going to just generate code. It's generating the same thing that I would make, but quicker. And I think it's, as a learning thing, it's up to you to still learn. And it's also up to you to be aware of what you're losing by using the tools. And I think that if you're a beginner at coding and you're a beginner, and if you want to be technical, like the reality is I have been coding for over a decade. So like there's always more stuff to learn. I'm not saying I know everything. There's always more stuff to learn. But in terms of like fundamental knowledge about software, I'm like, I got my fundamentals down. So I'm able to articulate things that I want in a way that is very different from someone who's not experienced with software engineering and coding. So I think that as a beginner, you should be absolutely trying to learn like the absolute fundamentals of logic. For example, in college, I took CS22, which was just a logic course. It wasn't coding. It was part of our coding curriculum, but it was just logic. You had to write proofs, and you just had to prove that things logically made sense. That's it. And it was just about teaching you how to be logical. And like it's very, very important to learn those skills. At the end of the day, like coding is it's just articulating very, very, very specific chunks of logic that when combined give you some outcome that you want, right? So we're just moving to a higher level logic articulation, you know? Yeah, you gotta review all your prompts, and you gotta be reviewing most things. But I don't think our brains have to be rotted, man. If we're opening up the possibility for us to just ask for something, then what are we asking for? And then you choose to make some fun shit, man. Make some games, make a product that you really want to see in the world. Hook people up with awesome shit that only your brain has. Bring that imagination to the world. Like, that's the beauty of it. We can focus on making cool shit and focusing on design and focusing on why we're making stuff rather than the lower end logic, the lower level logic. It's not necessarily right or wrong. It's just different. And I think that this is it's an interesting path to explore. Vibe coding sober. We're gonna have like vibe coders anonymous in the future. People are like, man, oh, I was so addicted to vibe coding. Like, let me tell you about the first time I got hooked. Could be true. Could be true. The phrasing of vibe coding is sober and microdosing slowly, like yeah, I mean, whatever you need to do to achieve what you want. At the end of the day, these things are tools, right? So too am I. So too am I. As long as you can achieve what you want, then it's you're doing something well. What is the spec? Let's review the spec first. Continue. Boy, I hope I asked for the right thing because I didn't review it. We'll see. I think the reason is because, like, dude, frankly, using superpowers and the brainstorming functionality and using all these tools, like, with the right systems, I'll be honest, man, you don't really need to review most things. It's just like once you've articulated what you want, and like kind of reviewed it a little bit and made sure that you're on the same page. Like once we have aligned and we are on the same page, just rip it, man. The rest of it is for keeping Claude on track and making sure that it's steering towards the right direction. I don't really care. I feel like there's just not much use in... There is use from an engineering perspective and like an engineering quality bar perspective of you gotta really understand absolutely every decision that's being made because we care about the quality of our software and delivering a good job for the company, blah, 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 blah. My brother in Christ, we're making a prototype for a game that will probably make $0 that I am doing for fun in my free time. And I am improving my skills, but we're focusing on the high level design. That's the skill that I'm improving right now. I'm trying to improve my high level design thinking. I care about the low level coding, but at the same time, that's like not my highest priority right now. My highest priority is understanding high level design thinking about my game. And I think like that's what I'm trying to focus on. So my brain is freed up for that. You know what I mean? All right, what do we got? I think I need to play test the sunflower. Let's see. I think in terms of like maintainable, in terms of being able to work with the code, one thing that I learned from working at Amazon and working at TikTok is that like the harsh truth is that like very little code is actually maintainable in the long run. And like the harsh truth is like someone is going to write a shitload of code like 10 years ago, and then they're going to leave the team, and then a new person is going to join the team. Say they wrote a ton of code 10 years ago. They designed this whole system. A year later, they leave. So now we're ticking down 9 years. 9 years ago, someone else picks up that project and they're like, shit, dude, I have to like own this project and another project because someone else on my team got laid off and now I own like 5 projects. And so now I got to maintain this and iterate on it because I'm being asked for new features. So now you start implementing things and you're like, okay, let's add some shit to this thing. Fuck, I don't really understand it all. And also like I have all these other things to do. So that guy 9 years ago has started to make some shit decisions, kind of poison the well. And then they get laid off. And now it's 8 years ago. And this cycle keeps repeating and over and over and over again. And now you get this code. Regardless of how much effort that initial guy put in, that code was doomed. Eventually, it is doomed, man. It is like, whoo, that is doomed. And I think like, I guess my experience, you're right that like, yeah, my experience is definitely tainted by bigger corporation coding. Like, holy fuck, man. Have you ever seen a file that's 8,000 lines of code and it's uncommented? And then you have like 200 of those files, and then you're told, "Hey, figure this thing out. Go implement this new thing." Dude, like it's not gonna work out. So the answer is, I think that AI code actually ends up being a lot better than what humans are capable of, because you just. I think like as a human, dude, I gotta go eat. I have like other responsibilities and thoughts in my head. I can try my best to be a high quality engineer, but like at the end of the day, humans are gonna make mistakes, or we're gonna rush something, or we're gonna be pressured by a PM or deadlines or life in general. You get divorced and you get evicted, and then you still have to submit your code. And it's like, look, we got to make sacrifices sometimes. AI will not do that, and that can lead to the dystopian perspective. AI cannot get laid. AI cannot get divorced, and cannot feel mental turmoil from making mistakes in their life. So in terms of like mental health, I guess an AI can be tainted by context rot, and by context rot, I guess. But like, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, like I guess it can definitely experience that, and that's called context rot. Like when the context gets too filled up and we start missing some memories or missing some information that was actually valuable, then we start making some bad decisions, and you just need to reset the context, and we can work with those things. But I think at the end of the day, like, and this is kind of just a hot take, I think, among software engineers, is like, I don't think the code really actually matters at the end of the day. Like, why do we even code? Like, the reason we code is because we're trying to accomplish some goal and get some outcome, or there's some result that we're trying to achieve, right? At the end of the day, the result matters. How we get there, it does matter in terms of like, at the end of the day, somebody's going to be working with that. But like, it like matters, but it doesn't. It's really weird, man. It's like, it's a really weird paradigm shift that I think is happening, where like it does, but it doesn't matter. It like, the code does matter, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to iterate on it if it's poorly designed. But at the same time, if Claude is doing all your coding, then who is suffering? Because Claude will figure it out eventually, you know? I don't know. It also, you're right. It definitely highly depends on what you're building. For example, if you're building a rocket ship, and the software for a rocket ship, and someone's lives are going to be on stake if you make a single mistake, like, you gotta, like, let's not fuck around in the slightest. If we're making a prototype for an indie game that we're doing for fun, to try to have fun and learn game design, yeah, there are a lot of compromises. I think like, it just, you're right. It's definitely, it highly depends on what you're building. It just depends on what you're working with, you know? Vibe coding is, I don't know. It's a very interesting thing that we're at such a beginning point of it that I like we're still at the beginning of all of it, you know? Like how we operate, how we use these tools is going to keep changing. And I think like being open-minded to new ways to code and being skeptical of it, you know, does this create good code? Does this cause more problems than create good solutions? You know, I think we should be skeptical, but I think being open-minded and skeptical is a good combo. You should be like, could this work? I don't know. And you should be skeptical. Like, here are some problems. Here are some current concerns that I have. And then you test it. And then you see if you can work with that tool to overcome those skepticisms. Is that a word? Oh, it is. I guess. No, it's not. I don't know, man. What was that alert? Whoa! Holy moly! Papa. I'm trying to confirm. Sorry, I was just double checking your name to confirm it's not a slur or anything. Papa Jat Sweet Nanny Goat. How you doing, man? That's like that's quite a few. Papa J, what's up? How you doing, Papa J? All right, we're chilling. How's your stream, man? Papa J at Sweet Nanny Goat. I say, how was your stream, man? Thanks for the raid. I think Dwight on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, AI can fuck some things up. And I think if corporations, at the end of the day, corporations are going to use AI agents and vibe coding to replace people and to lay people off and to get rid of people and make more money for less cost. But that doesn't mean it's all bad. And I think that if you can use it in ways that make you able to be more imaginative and for you to create awesome shit for people that helps people's lives, that is fun, that is something that wouldn't exist in the world, that genuinely makes the world better or offers an experience of fun for people, I think that's what matters, or helps. It's important, man. Got a fridge door to open? You're hungry. Post stream hunger is what I'm hearing. What are you gonna eat, Papa J? Yeah, it does make it easier to make slop. I think that if you only care about money, or you only care about like manipulating people or making some bullshit, it'll give you some bullshit. But if you care about people and you genuinely care about making something good for people, then AI lets you do that with even more power. You get the opportunity to make cool shit even faster, you know? I think that it's really important. You can't there are consequences where people are going to make more slop or make some bullshit or do nefarious things. But I think that's just a flaw of anything, you know? I think therefore it's an imperative that we care about being deliberate and being imaginative and focusing the effort on how do I use these tools to make some cool shit for people, man? How do I do something awesome, and how do I leverage these tools to make that happen? You know what I mean? Oh, you mean I see. I think I understand it. I think I understand what you're saying now. Okay. There's something about, I don't know why there's something so funny about the way that lad is walking. Ladette? I'm not sure. I kind of dig the gait. Dude, I love the aesthetic of this. This is fun. It feels like a paper sketch. A sketch on a piece of paper. It feels very neat. Wait, is that the door opening? Is that the fridge door? Oh boy. Oh boy, holy, let's go. Nice. Nice. And another one, baby. All right. Hey, that's kick ass, man. That's some fun aesthetics, man. That's hype. That's hype. That's awesome, Papa J. Dude, wealthy people getting open claw set up is some bullshit, man. That is frankly, let's be real though, that's actually good because they're getting exploited and they should be exploited for doing that. Dude, they're not getting anything from that, man. And if they think they are, I mean, maybe they can, but I think most of those people are not gonna get jack diddly from their open claw. There's I interviewed for this company called Corridor. I went out to SF and I interviewed with them. It was a couple of months ago, so I've had a lot of time to ponder this. And I got rejected from the interview. The task was in an hour, vibe code and AI agent observability dashboard. So we want to be able to inspect, given that, you know, we're working with Claude Code, what is Claude Code doing during your session? And we want to be able to observe the behavior of Claude so we can inspect failure rates or why certain tools failed or succeeded. And we want to understand that. And this is like, I think when my opinion about AI engineering really changed, because I created the most bland, boring bullshit dashboard that you probably could ever create. It's got some graphs. It's got a real-time updating graph where when the tool usage populates, we're gonna update the graph, man. We're gonna show a red circle when there's an error and a green circle on success, and we're gonna accumulate all this information. With the infinite realm of imaginative possibility, I choose to implement a fucking boring dashboard, man. And I think that the way that I was prompted by the task was, it felt like, oh, let's make it a very official, a very, you know, let's create a legitimate dashboard, all this stuff. Dude, let's have some more fun with it. I refuse to work on anything that's not fun anymore, man. Like, I'm not gonna vibe code. If you find me vibe coding, I'm just fucking creating dashboards, dude. I'm gonna lose it. I want to vibe code and create a fly that follows you around and dashes at you. You know, when I think back to that interview, what if I created a little companion that exists on the corner of Claude Code, and it's a little axolotl or something, axolotl that like says, "Hey man, hey, your tool just failed. Hey, here are the stats." You click on him and you give him a little head pat, and he's like, "Hey, 5 tools failed." Or like, "Oh, whoops, there was a security concern. Whoops, we just caught a security," because Corridor is a cybersecurity company, where their product is selling an MCP server, at least right now, an MCP server that improves cybersecurity capabilities for Claude. So then what if it says, "Hey, guess what? Corridor just helped you out. We just found a security vulnerability, buddy." Blah, 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 blah. Like, let's make it more fun. Like, that's not even like the most fun thing, but like, why? Like, I think what I'm realizing is like, man, these tools give you the opportunity to make so many fucking awesome things. To waste the imaginative potential on some bullshit is just disgraceful, man. Like, let's make some awesome shit. Or like, for example, job postings, updating your resume, automatically figuring out. I set up a system actually, and I think a better one already exists. But basically, I provide a LaTeX file that contains of various LaTeX files that contain a given job and the given achievements at that job. And it gives, I have my education history, I have all my job history, I have all the projects I worked on. And then given all of that, and given the roles that I want, you take that and you take a given job posting and you automate the process of converting all of your job history and all of your education history, everything, into the perfectly crafted resume for that job posting. And then the trick is that when you say, oh, just make me a resume that's optimal for this job, you're gonna get some bullshit. It's gonna invent some absolute bullshit that you did not write. If you just give it literally all the things that you did, it cannot invent bullshit because you just gave it everything. There's no bullshit to be invented. You got it all. And so then it optimizes the resume perfectly for the role. And I think that if you can do that, that's just like that's just like the competitive edge right now. Plus referrals, as Curry's saying. I think you got to have a referral and you got to use these tools. I think the other thing is like there are tools where you can also thanks for the follow, Papa J. Thank you. Sorry, I kind of glossed over that. My bad. There are some tools now that let you track certain companies and track certain roles, and then it'll automatically generate the type of resume that I'm talking about and automatically apply. Like I see postings on LinkedIn where it's like, just got posted, holy fuck, there's 200 applicants immediately. These people are using these tools and it's unfair. So you either get screwed by that or you take advantage of the technology we have and you get your bag, man. It's up to us. I don't know. There's some really interesting applications of tech that I want to figure out. AI resumes getting filtered by AI like it's exactly. Yeah. So then you have to optimize the AI resume to be not filtered by the AI recruiter, which the AI recruiter will then keep track of, which then, it's an arms race, man. I think companies should be given back the BS that they serve. I think that no company in the history of ever cares about you, unless it's a very, very small startup. Or like there are only a couple people, or it's like a small indie game studio. We got 5 people and we're chilling. Like that's like, there's a big difference between nameless corporation or like big corporation and holy shit, that is my like buddy that I've known for 20 years, we're making a game together. But I think the big corporations should be dinged. All right, let me figure out what we got here. So I think the sunflower is set up as I wanted. What was the problem here? So yeah, I think this is fine. Maybe this should be a circle, not a rectangle. This should probably be a circle 2D. Hopefully that didn't break anything. All right, let's go back. Pop this sucker down. All right, I'll take it. Or maybe it should be a rectangle. Dude, I don't know. I guess if it's a circle, then we can... I think that's fine. I like standing on his face like that. Although maybe it should be the petals at the top. It is kind of weird that we're not standing on the petals. But... This is one of those things that I love about game dev, is that there's not a right answer, Like, maybe it feels better if it's up here. I don't know. If the collision is up there. All right, I'm going to make the stem not solid. And then I think visually everything else looked pretty good with this. Whoops. So stem goes up. Beautiful. Can I stand on this? I cannot because the stem is not solid. Okay, right. That makes sense. And then it's going to go down. And everything goes inside. I wanted to observe how the platforms come out and then come back in. So I think what I'm expecting is that the edge of the platform should come in first. Yeah. It's a little late though. Okay. I think that is good feedback. 100 resumes per job posting. Look, you get filtered. It probably auto filters you, right? Can AI models understand context between different Godot nodes and scenes? You wanna know something cool? A Godot scene is just a text file, and a node is actually just a text file. So Claude and OpenAI's tools and everything, what these tools will do, it's going to read that file in the context. It's just a text file, right? We can go look at one. So like, let's say we open up the garden.scene file, right? We're going to have the scene file. It's just a 138 line text file that tells us where everything should be, right? We have a platform at position -2922, and these are the traits for that platform, right? It's just a text file. So it can read that in. And then we might have a node inside here where we're going to have a, like this is a platform, right? That platform, the dynamic platform file is yet again another text file. So we can just read that into context. So yes, the AI models can read all of this into context, and it's super easy because it's just a text file. StarCraft knockoff that supports multiplayer. Dude, that's hype. That's hype. I think the real challenge with a lot of agentic coding is when you cannot articulate a game in terms of another game. Like the game that I'm making right now, like it's very like it stems off of the Mario arcade game from 1986. But to articulate the like exact behavior that we want, you have to be able to articulate the like piece by piece, the exact movement, the exact feelings that we want. And so it's like there's no way to get this game by saying clone this. You know what I mean? And I think that's like where like a lot of the most fun lies in all this agentic coding is like, how do you create something that we say let's start from cloning StarCraft, and then like let's bring it somewhere that it's impossible to have described it in a single prompt. It doesn't even, it's like conceptually it doesn't even make any sense. Like I see all the time on social media, people are like, guys, I just used Fable to one-shot Minecraft. And it's like, that's cool, man. But that's not where the coolest stuff about agentic coding lies. It's about coming up with something that you cannot articulate in one prompt. It's about working through the iterative process and figuring out, holy shit, we start from Minecraft, but we've made a completely different game. And it is not possible to have described it that way from the beginning because it only emerges through the active iteration and discovering what it is you really wanted and what is the most fun. You know what I mean? Exactly. You like, we add one feature after another, and we get to basically that point. Exactly. We get to that point, and we say, I want, in your head, you're like, I want to make something like StarCraft, and what that means is you decompose it into the systems that StarCraft requires, and you implement those piece by piece, and you figure out how to get it implemented. That's so fucking awesome, man. And that's some kick-ass stuff. I'm down to give it a whirl. Do. Man, itch.io is just so cool. It's crazy that it is free. All right, what do we got? What do we got, baby? I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not sure. Okay. We're spawning units. I have spawned units, baby. It appears that we have spawned many units. I don't think I'm playing the game correctly. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, and it can directly edit the files. Exactly. It's just a text. It's just a text file. Can make changes to those text files, yeah. And create new text files, right? It struggles a lot more when things are compiled into binary. But luckily Godot is, everything is, it's just a text file, you know? Oh, wait. No. I figured it out now. Oh, okay. I get it now. Okay. I figured it out. Okay. All right, we got a cluster of young fellows. I think, this is the full map, right? I see. How do I move around in the map? Spawn unit. Let's go there, fellas. What do we got? Where are we going, lads? Just have to drag? Well, all I know is that my lads are going to that big old circle over there. All right. Hey, I like this. This is cool. I like the highlighting on the map of the active units. Active unit highlighting is nice. Trying to think of, I'm trying to think of swarm implementations in Godot. I'm not sure how we do that. I'd love to create a game. Thanks for sharing, by the way. I'd love to create a game with that would just be like the best version of COD Zombies that I can come up with. That's one of my dream games to make one day. I want to make a because that reminds me of like a fundamental part of like that type of game is a shitload of units, like the Warcraft type game. Same with COD Zombies, you got a shitload of units. You got swarms, man. So I think like figuring out how to have a ton of entities and how to make a game, like I love games that have the bullet heaven fantasy of holy shit, we're destroying a lot of things, or I guess in the case of Warcraft, it's controlling a lot of things to destroy things. In the case of like COD, it's you are destroying a lot of things as a single entity. Okay, so let's see. What was I doing here? I don't even remember which one this is. Okay, this is the sunflower. And for this, we want to go back. Give me a sec here. Open up the work tree, sunflower. All right. So now the platform timing should be a little bit better, hopefully. So that feels pretty good coming up. I think that feels decent. Coming down should feel hopefully a little bit better as well. That feels good enough. I think the sunflower head needs to lerp in, or it needs to tween in size from 0 scale to 100% scale as it grows, like as it comes out of the pot. Right now it's like, I'm gonna pause it. It's at 100% scale when it's going down. That's a little that's not what we want. Let me ask for that. May your robot overlords treat you kindly. I'm off to bed. Have a good night, Papa J. I hope your robot sleep sheep are giving you good dreams, my friend. May you dream of fridges. Thanks for stopping by and raiding. Okay. We need to add a size tween for the sunflower head. When it comes out of the pot, it should tween from 0% size to 100% size. When it goes back in, it should tween from 100% size to 0% size. Or like 10% size. We should be able to define the start and finish size for each. I think that's probably good enough. I think I've articulated what I need. All right, let's see. Next up is the editor drag. All right. Does this work? So if I double click this, we didn't implement it. Oh wait, no, I did. No, I did implement it. Okay, great. No, that's exactly what I wanted. I was such a dick to Claude immediately. Okay. All right. Do we get the block system implemented though? I don't think the block system is here. Ah, right. Okay. So we have the double click on an entry row. That works. And this button. Okay, that worked. Okay, great. Let's yeah, I think this makes sense. So we can reorder elements. And we can double click to enter the scene and change the enemy here. Can click this to go to the scene for that enemy. That's great. And then yeah, this is perfect. This is almost perfect. This is almost perfect. Okay. Great. All right, next up is the fly. Yeah, this feels right. This feels right, man. This feels right. I think this is good. This is good. This just makes sense. This makes so much more sense than how it felt before. This is great. He gets a little close though, doesn't he? I think that arc is a little too Oh, interesting. Wait, there might be a bug. Not the mosquito. But there might be a bug like this. I would expect it to follow me. We can mess with them. See this? That's not allowed. That's not allowed. Come on. Okay. All right. I got to figure out how to say this. I also think the arc, like its detection area, and then the arc is kind of small. The arc around the player is a little bit small. Is it the strike height that I want to change? Let's rip it on. Let's rip it on 632 strike height. Click back into that. Not quite. I think that it needs to be just a smidge over to the side. All right. I think that's enough. Okay. Oi, oi, oi. It's because I don't have chain slides on, I don't think. Okay. Okay, so did that tween? I didn't even notice. Ooh. Ooh, that is not right. But it's... Okay, I need to pause. So let's articulate this. Not this one, this one. Okay. Great. I think I'm almost done with the editor plugin, which is huge, because our next step for the vertical slice here is we really got to nail our level design. And to make that easy, we got to make the level editor that we're building very easy. Okay, so this is done. Sunflower platform is like, it's like so close. It's almost there. I also think the fly is almost there. We're like 99% of the way. So the platform's at like 99%, flies at like 99%, and the editor's at like 99%. So this is good progress. I'm feeling good. All right. I think at this point it might be kind of fun to work on this other project I was thinking about. Actually, we have other features to do. What else do we need? So let me think. What else do we want right now? Let me just like play the game. I've mostly been That was a good dodge. Actually, fast falling is kind of sick for that. Alright, that's pretty fun. So we can dash through that. We cannot jump up into it. It is a bumpable platform. Okay, alright. Actually play the game, alright. I ran out of my mop. When did I use the mop? I think it's because it's on shift that it's super weird. Shift is just, it's just not the right answer for mop. Maybe, I think maybe the answer is probably, probably E. Alright, I need to fix that. Mop should be its own hotkey, and it needs to be probably on E. Alright, I need to open a new Claude instance for this. Input for mopping. Let me add, it's just going to be easier if I just do this. I think we need E. I think if it's E, that kind of works. Mop as E. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm going to feel it out. E maybe makes sense. I'm going to try E. Okay. So then, let's say it's E. So we have mop on E. Input for mopping needs to swap to the mop action. Dude, I probably can just look at this. I don't know why I'm even bothering to do that. Boing. Yo, Buttonaholic. Thank you for the follow, my friend. Alright, so we just disabled this. This is great. Mop control. Let's go back. And in here... Dude, where in the hell is try mop being defined, man? Okay, hold on. I'm pretty sure. Alright, let's see. How you doing today, Mr. Buttonaholic? Buttonaholic. Does that mean you like drink buttons? Or what do we got? The prettiest stream ever? Like in terms of the blue lighting, or in terms of the default Godot editor. I see. All right. How you doing, Twits? Twill T Will TS. Will. Hey, dude, you're awesome, Will. Thank you for being kind. I can call you whatever. Okay. All right, whatever. How you doing today? Hope you're having a good day. Let's see. What did I do here? Chilling and cruising, baby. Chilling and cruising. All right. That's a lovely Friday. That is a lovely Friday. I woke up at Your name is a gaming reference? What is button I am out of the loop, unfortunately. I have a feeling that the AI overview here is not giving me the right answer. Addicted to buttons. I see. This is what I'm saying. I don't understand. Is it like addicted in what manner? You know, addicted to using buttons, drinking buttons, eating buttons? What do we got? What's your flavor of addiction? You do produce UFC 6 content though? All right. It's got some information and the sim racing. It's got some information. All right. Some buttons taste better than others. I think a well-used button is kind of like a well-salted wok. You know what I mean? Like a well-seasoned wok. It kind of makes the flavor better. All right, let's see. Changes are uncommitted. I'll be honest, I'm a poser. I have not eaten any buttons, unfortunately. Or fortunately. Probably unfortunately. Alright, fine. Claude is doing this thing now. It's actually really pleasant, and I'm appreciating it, where I am trying to do too much and it's telling me, hey man, you gotta fuck off a little bit, please start a new window and like let's get rid of some context, let's reset, let's commit what we got. We've been working on this for like 6 hours. Let's move on, man, and then we can add the new thing that you want. It's actually kind of nice. What are we vibe coding? I am working on this game called Grime 2.5, where if you've played like the Mario arcade game from, you know, like 1986, it's been done many times, but the idea is running along, got like the classic Mario type level, running along, you have the basic gameplay, right? We can move around and we can bump enemies from below, all that jazz. But then, okay, we can grab an enemy. Okay, we got flying mosquitoes. All right, they're bouncing along. They're zooming around. We can throw enemies. They can bounce around. We got the little manager. He just flew by. Got this baby bush that's spawning enemies. They're popping out. They're gonna get upgraded eventually. We got a mop mechanic, where it gives you a little bit of a slide boost. If enemies slip on it, then they start slipping and sliding. We can grab our enemies and hit them into each other. Let's see. These mosquitoes are going to be a problem here. Oh boy. Honestly, this is such a poorly designed level now because, dude, these mosquitoes do not belong, man. These guys are brutal. It's the classic. You can warp between the screens and wrap between the screens. Let's see if we can bump this sucker. Boop. Baby bush just got upgraded. Let me put the mop back in. Now we already got a mop charge. Grab this guy. Nice. Bump this fellow. This is the game we're working on. Nice. Killed all the mandatory enemies. Lots to figure out. We're still very early. We've been working on this for about 25 days. So it's pretty early in development still. We got some different levels. Experimenting with some things we've been experimenting with. Like, got this dash system. If we can get a good enough of a dash. Gain enough speed. And we kind of do the pizza tower dash through enemies, you know. Can drop through some platforms like this. That green platform means you can drop through it and you can bump it. A purple platform is kind of like in Melee, like Super Smash Bros. Melee, where you can drop through and jump through. Can have different combinations of that, and you can imagine if you combine when we start designing actual levels, like when you combine those two, I think we'll create some interesting designs. Enemies hop through the chutes and they spawn out of the chutes in the top. Some fun stuff, man. So that's what we're working on, and so we're just refining all the feelings and refining how everything feels. I just added one thing I'm really proud of. This is something I'm really proud of that I just added. I know we're okay. I added wall jumping. I feel very good about the wall jumping. This feels fucking awesome, and I'm so happy with how it came out. I'm excited. There's so many things that are gonna be really cool, and the Balatro molt, man. It's gonna be fun. I think we got a lot of work to do on refining everything, man. We got a long way to go, but it's in a good state. In about a month, it's been pretty good progress, I think. Can I prove I'm real and put a shoe on my head? I remember in one of my first streams, like 10 years ago, no, like 12 years ago, I got raided by 4chan, and they're like, put shoe on head. And I ran upstairs and put my shoe on my head. And then they all left. They were like, good job, man. Now play Battletoads. And then I played Battletoads and I put a shoe on my head, and then they were like, great, good job, man. And that's it. So I've already done the shoe on head bit. How did I become a TikTok engineer? I was valedictorian in my high school, so I went to Brown University on a full ride for free. And then when I got there, I was like, I kind of want to do like psychology and stuff. I think that'd be fun, some behavioral psychology. Then I took, I hated computer science. I didn't want to fucking code. Coding sucks. I don't want to code, is what I thought as a 18-year-old. And I was like, all right, man, let me take CS15. CS15 is a class by Andy Van Dam, who's like this kick-ass, awesome young man. He's not young. He's very old now, but he's a kick-ass guy. He's like the godfather of computer graphics, okay? And he taught CS15. It's the intro computer science class at Brown. There's CS15, CS17, and CS19. CS15 is like the more chill one. CS19 is for the kids that were like already coding for 10 years. And they're at 18 with like 18 years of experience coding. So that's where you'd be if you're in CS19. CS15 is for people that are on the like cusp of, am I going to code? Am I not? Anyway, that class inspired the shit out of me. It was like so fun. And I was like, wow, I was not going to do software engineering, but like I kind of want to now. It was just like the way we learn. I remember when polymorphism clicked in my head, and when I figured out how all the logic worked and everything clicked, I was like, holy fuck, I see it. Like, I get it and I understand it. And it is so fun. And so then I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, and I unfortunately went down the little nasty path in life of, well, it's not necessarily nasty. It was the path I chose because like I went to school on a full ride scholarship. So then coming out of it, I was like, dude, I have $0 in my bank account. I don't come from a rich family. Like, I got to get a job at a big tech company and make money. So I went down the route of just grinding out leak code, and like I didn't really want to work at a big tech company, but it's just like what you do if you're in that position. And so I joined Amazon as a software engineer out of college, and I worked there for a year, and then I started making TikToks and making VFX videos and like having fun with that. And I was like, dude, it'd be fun to work at TikTok and like understand the algorithm. I started in my free time, I started analyzing how social media algorithms work. Like, how do you make a good video for the algorithm? How do you make good YouTube videos? All that stuff. And I realized like, wait, dude, this is cool. So I was like, what's the best way to learn how this works? I'll just like work on the algorithm. And so then I got hired for TikTok, and I worked as a machine learning engineer. I don't know anything about machine learning, but I kind of just like pivoted into that role somehow, and started training new models and working on the recommendation algorithm. And my job was just conducting experiments and figuring out how to improve metrics. You're just like, hey, like what I was working on for a while was the web app, like just TikTok.com. It's different algorithms for different businesses, but I was working on TikTok.com. And so then my job was just, hey, get people to stay on the app longer. Okay, what the fuck does that mean? But I was just coming up with hypotheses and experimenting and just doing the scientific, the scientific process of figuring out, okay, you have an idea, let's get some data, let's test it, let's experiment, let's iterate, and improve some shit. So that's fun. Yeah, that's what I was doing. That's my education and experience. And so I kind of just pivoted from software engineering to doing that, and I got laid off because they wanted me to be in person in San Jose, and I live in LA, so they just laid me off. And at that point, that was like 3 months ago. And at that point, dude, I was hella depressed because, like, to be honest, the work was not, it was fun in that, when you get a good experiment going and everything's working, it was good. It's just like culture wise, I wasn't really fitting at TikTok. So I was not in a good place. It was not a good time. But now, dude, I'm loving life, man. I'm feeling so good. My girlfriend just came home, and I love her so much, and she's awesome. And I feel so grateful for just existing as a person day to day. And like, I'm working on a fun game with some friends, and we are making something happen and bringing something into the world that did not exist, and it feels fun. And started taking capoeira classes, which is a martial art. I can do fucking one-handed cartwheels now, man. I'm doing handstands and cartwheels and kicks, and it's crazy. I'm having a lot of fun. I have a dog. We go on walks. I meditated in the park with him today. I'm just it's so anyway, that's my experience path. I kind of gave you way more than you asked for, I think, Buttonaholic, but that's my vibe. Yeah, no, it was a Dr. Doofenshmirtz ass job. It's human experimentation, man. No, I'd never do MMA. No, I don't. I value my brain. I prefer it not to get rocked around. With capoeira, it's actually interesting. Like, you're not supposed to hit anybody. Like, it's more playing the game of capoeira. When you actually practice it, it's more playing the game of capoeira. You're not trying to hit anybody. And you're like, we're dodging. I'm throwing a kick at your head, but you're dodging it. And that's our goal. We're not hitting anything. How old am I? I'm 27. Graduated from college in 2021. I'm old now, man. I'm not even old, but it's crazy. Data analysts. Yeah, they're data link. I feel like at TikTok, you kind of just had to do everything. Like for my role, I did all the data analysis I needed to generate hypotheses. If I had an experiment, I had to do all the data analysis. They're kind of like, there kind of just isn't like a point to having a separate. There actually were there are data engineers and data scientists who are like, that is their dedicated role to analyze and to come up with new insights, and then you give that off to an MLE. I just like personally, from my experience, I just don't have a broad enough experience to make a claim about the whole industry. But from my experience, I found that I just did all the work of like, I had to implement all the code in the TikTok recommendation system that I needed to implement my experiments. That might be like a shitload of code or not that much code, but I had to implement all the code. I had to update, models and all that stuff. Oh, guys, there's a fire. I'm not gonna react.
Fire. Has that been happening?
Huh?
Has that been happening?
No, that was the first time.
Oh. You acted so nonchalant that I was like, are you just used to this happening? Like, what's going on?
Dude, well, it does happen. Like, our apartment just randomly fire alarms sometimes. Hi, Goomba. But anyway, I think for data analysts and stuff, I kind of just had to do all of it myself. I had to just wear all the hats, so I don't know. Just gotta wear hats, man. Not gonna react into full on fire, man. That'd be a fire clip. What are you smoking? Buttons? I think you die if you try to smoke like GameCube buttons. I think you die. Probably not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually you will die because of that moment. Why did I think GameCube buttons? Because I have my GameCube controller and also my N64 controller always strapped, always ready. All right, so what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? I am. What is this guy doing, mate? Let's merge this sucker. That whip. Oh, I see. I understand now. I understand. Great, that worked, bucko. Commit and push everything we've got. I'm at this sickening place in my vibe coding career where I tell Claude to just push. I'm not typing git push. I'm doing this git add -a, git commit -m, blah, 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 git push. Fuck you. You got it, Claude. You can do it, buddy. You can do it. Why is the room lighting so blue? Because I have a blue light and it's set to blue because that's my calm color. So if I'm coding, I want to be in like a chill zone where I can just think about stuff. I'm not even coding, man. When I'm thinking about logic or thinking, we got to be in chill mode, you know? If it's red, it would be a little too aggressive and like kind of sexual, you know? If it's like yellow or like white, it's just like a light. If it's blue, it's kind of chill. You know what I mean? It's a creating good thinking vibes. You know what I mean? Eco-friendly buttons. Yo, thanks for the follow, Will. Is my pop-up not happening? Let me see. There we go. There we go. I fixed it. Is this a... Wait. I'm realizing the chat might be duplicated. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. You guys, no one told me? So you guys just have been seeing two chats on screen and no one told me, huh? Alright, that's fine. I won't trust you guys for anything. Claude would have told me. Dude, Mario 64 is the GOAT. Check this out. Check this out. I just I've been vibe coding this. Okay, so hear me out.
It's me, Mario.
Hear me out.
Hello.
We hop into SM64, okay? All right, this is what we're gonna do. Hop into SM64. We're in Usumune.
Okie dokie.
Hop into let's see. Hop into Womps. Let's see. We'll do shoot into Wild Blue. And then what this tool does is it allows us to keep track of our practice progress. So when we grind out Womps, we say this is the star that we're working on. We're working on Wild Blue. And given the community's rank standards for Mario, Grandmaster, Master, all these ranks, I just got it was like an alright. It was like an alright execution. I got a bronze time. My best is a gold time, where I got a 1063. We can check out the replay that we just did, so we can check out what we just did in real time and say, all right, I think I maybe took a little bit too long jumping off of that. My jump dive wasn't quite right. The angle wasn't quite right. We can save this. We can do a frame by frame, and we can even compare this to the example. Figure out how to improve. And then it automatically detects. The cool thing about this is it automatically detects the new star once we complete it. So like, let's go and do texture. So now Blast Away the Wall is automatically selected, and now we're practicing this. So you can imagine you can automatically flow between the different levels. If we go to SSL, the SSL stars load up with all our data. Can you see your theoretical best? So, like, you have your PB for each star, right? So, like, I've done Shining on Top of the Pyramid at 703, which means you can therefore describe. I need to redefine this. I boomed the route that I described. But let's say you set up the LBLJ route. Well, the LBLJ route is just composed of the different segments and the different stars for that route, right? So a route is defined as a series of segments and a series of stars. Therefore, you can just practice each of those segments and each of those stars. And therefore, you know your hypothetical best possible run for that route. But then you can also have your average last 50 hypothetical best run. And then, like, given the practice that you've been doing, given the last 50 runs that you've been doing for practice, you know, what would we expect you to do when you actually try to go do a run, you know? So we can calculate all that. Still improving this tool, but I think there's a lot that I can still do. This was really fun to implement, the star selector. And just like, again, this was all vibe coded, man. And the reason is because it found like the decompilation of Mario 64, and like people have documented all of the memory addresses. They've documented how to access a star. They've documented all this. So we just like it automatically detects everything, man. It's so sick. Yeah, I made this. I vibe coded this with Claude. So yeah, it's very fun. There's a lot of cool shit we can do, man. So anyway, I love SM64. I also love Melee, Super Smash Bros. Melee. Yeah, dude, I'm hella unemployed right now. I am hella unemployed. So that's what we're doing, man. Can you go to bed? I don't know, man. If the fly works, you're allowed to go to bed. Oh wait. Oh, we kind of have to implement the next feature, man. Sorry. Let's see. Let's say I open the new Claude window. What am I pasting to get started on our next iteration? Alright. What the hell happened here? One blah 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 blah. Had the new input map. Cool beans, man. Cool beans. And now, okay. All right. You can barely tolerate yourself. How are you not banned? Hey, man. I have to tolerate myself on a daily basis. You're good, dude. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Hey, man. The way I think about it, we're all just monkeys. At the end of the day, we're just a little bit more advanced than monkeys. Stay humble. All right. No, we don't. That's a strike. It's a strike, Will. It's a strike. Unless you are black, in which case it's a strike against me. And now we're in a conundrum here, aren't we? Boy, oh boy. It's a problem. Might be. Alright, anyway, let's do, what am I doing? I needed to, what the fuck is this asking me to do? Alright. Oh shit. Oh yeah. That'd be radical.
Yeah, did you eat dinner?
I ate something at like 6 or something.
Well, if you don't want to eat it, it's okay.
I would love to eat it. I'm gonna wrap up these features and then I think I will eat. Oh, actually, this should probably be Fable. All right. Did you redeem the second and the third? This guy is greedy, man. This guy is greedy. All right, let's swap the Fable and rip it on that. Shit, I should probably pause on that then.